Welcome to r/best of Redditor updates, where OP's boyfriend possibly wants to murder her. Our next Reddit post is from r/2x chromosomes. During our first few weeks of dating, my boyfriend joked too much for comfort that he was going to murder and dismember me and dispose of my body. Maybe out of context I'm being dramatic. He's very sarcastic and has dark humor. But to me, it wasn't funny and caused me anxiety because I know the statistics. I talked to him about this. I told him repeatedly, stop joking about killing me. He kept on with the jokes until I finally told him that those jokes literally scare me. He apologized and seemed to feel bad that his jokes made me scared of him. Tonight, we were over 3 hours late to meet with his brother to play games, watch movies, and eat dinner. When I was talking to him about us being late, I noticed he sighed deeply, clenched his fist, and looked down at it as if he were making the conscious choice not to punch me. Then, as I was saying goodbye to his brother, he comes into the room and says, "She should say her permanent goodbyes." I asked him, "What the hell?" He said that it was a joke. I asked, "How's it funny? What's the punchline? Please explain to me how that was supposed to be funny." He couldn't answer. I didn't want to get in the car with him. I walked off, and thankfully my roommate picked me up and drove me home. He called later, and I told him I'm done. He's a good man, other than for the jokes about killing me. We talked about it and agreed that he wouldn't make jokes about killing me anymore, but then he did it again tonight, and doubled down that it was just a joke and that I'm actually the problem. I started telling him again about how often women are killed by their husbands and boyfriends, and that's why the jokes bother me so much. But he interrupted me to say, "F you!" So I hung up and blocked him. All this really sucks because my roommates say that I should just talk it out with him and give him another chance because they can tell I really like him and he really likes me. But I already did that. I thought that we were past the homicide jokes. Then he did it again tonight while he was angry with me, and it caused me this awful feeling in my gut that I needed to not get in the car with him and get away from him. I've had boyfriends and male friends in the past. None of them have ever made jokes about murdering and dismembering me. Then, 11 months later, OP posted an update. Thankfully, I've moved across state since then, and I haven't seen him since. The last time I spoke to him over the phone, I made it very clear several times. You promised you'd stop making jokes about murdering me, but then you did it again. You realize the greatest threat for women is being murdered by their boyfriends or husbands? Women are most likely to be killed by men they know. Hey OP, F you! So I hung up. I ghosted him after that, blocked him on everything, and alerted my employer if he showed up that he was a threat. And for context, OP's boyfriend is like 40. Our next Reddit post is from r/relationships. I am a 28-year-old woman, and my significant other, a 28-year-old guy, cheated on me with my stepsister, who's 27, and she's pregnant with his kid. My significant other, Adam, says that he was drunk. We've been together for 10 years and finally got engaged. And my stepsister, Betty, took advantage of him the first time. Adam doesn't have an excuse for the handful of other times they slept together over a 3-month period. I knew she was pregnant. I've already been roped by my mom into co-hosting the baby shower with my other stepsister, Claire, who's 30. I don't know if it's shock or what, but I'm so effing glad I haven't given Claire my share for the expensive jogging stroller that we're getting Betty, or my half of the baby shower cost. Betty told everyone the father is an ex-boyfriend who doesn't want anything to do with her or the kid. She makes a ton of money, and she'd be fine as a single mother, and my mom would help a ton since she's retired and bored and wants a Duggar family worth of grandchildren. Adam confessed everything because his dad walked out on him and his mom when he was a toddler, so he wants to be a father to his child. But he still wants to be with me because he loves me and made a mistake. I told him to get the F out of my apartment. And I called my mom and told her who the real father of Betty's baby is, just because she's my mother and she'll listen to me cry. Then OP posted an update. My mother effing knew already. Apparently, in a fit of sadness over missing her deceased mother, who died when she was like 2, Betty told my mother. All of them, Mom, Claire, and my stepfather, have effing known for months. Months! Meanwhile, I'm over here killing myself trying to find the perfect floral arrangement for the tables for Betty's baby shower. because I'm trying to be all sisterly and stuff, and being the bigger person because sure as hell Betty wouldn't put half as much effort into my baby shower if I were having one, and she was hosting or co-hosting it. Or half as much money, even though she makes a lot more than me. My own mother couldn't effing tell me that my effing fiance fathered my effing stepsister's effing baby. No, in fact, she effing guilt-tripped me into being a co-host for the baby shower as soon as she found out Betty was pregnant. I think before she found out Adam was the father, I think. Well, Mom apparently wants us all to get along and be a family, and the past doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the new family. She knows I'm upset and hurt, but I need to work on my relationship with Adam, since we've been together 10 years, and I wouldn't want to throw that away over a mistake. And my relationship with Betty, since we're sisters and we have been since we were kids. And I need to figure out how to be the bigger person and put my feelings aside for the sake of our kid and our family. I've always been the bigger person with Betty, from the very moment that we were first introduced at the tender ages of 10 and 9, and she refused to give me my favorite stuffed animal back. And even then, Mom felt bad for her and let her get away with being a brat. And she got to take Mrs. Snuffles home while I had to suck it up and be the bigger person. She probably still has poor Mrs. Snuffles in some box in my mom and stepfather's attic. A trophy for her first of many victories over me. I hung up on my brother. And here I am posting on Reddit. I don't want to be Betty's kid's stepmother. I don't think that I can forgive Adam. He knows what Betty's like and how our relationship is. Hell, I don't even know if I can forgive my mom, and she's like my mom. She was a great mother, one of my best friends. The only wrong thing about her was her nasty habit of pitying Betty and letting her get away with murder, and her terrible knitting, which she always gives as gifts. I just don't know how she can justify this betrayal in any way. It wasn't me that screwed up 10 years of a relationship, or mine and Betty's supposedly sisterly bond. It was them. Maybe I should talk to her and ask if someone slipped crazy pills in her food the last few months. Or maybe she's getting early dementia or something. F if I know. I keep looking at the text message from Claire that she sent me way too effing early this morning, asking when I was giving her my share of the $800 jogging stroller that we're getting Betty. And my share of the baby shower cost that's going to be worth a crappy Craigslist car. Then OP posted an update. I mass texted our friends telling them that Adam was a cheating bastard who was Betty's baby daddy. Then I snuck into my parents' house. I got the stuff in the attic that I was keeping there until I had a house of my own. Plus, I want to find Mrs. Snuffles. Oh, and I'm gonna raid my mom's jewelry box, which sounds bad, I know. But I'll only take stuff that my grandmother left me, I promise. I was letting my mom borrow it because I felt bad my grandma willed it all to me and skipped her. Mom's an only child. And I figured I would just get it back when my mom died in 40 years. Which I freely admit is effing stupid of me, because I could just see Betty whining that she didn't have any grandmothers to leave her jewelry and that it isn't fair. And that probably my grandma knew what she was doing leaving it to me instead. I wish my grandma was alive. She would tear my mom a new one. Then OP posted another update. I'm a really bad person. I texted Betty. I said, I hope your baby is born with Down syndrome, which will be an interesting combination with the fetal alcohol syndrome that it's got a 90% chance of having since you drank more than your mother ever dreamed of drinking. Then I followed that up with a text calling her a grunt, and another one where I called her a whore. To be clear, her mom died in a car crash that she caused by drinking and driving. And Betty's the type of person who has expressed more than once that people with disabilities like Down syndrome should just be killed, because they don't have any use and they're a drain on society. Then, 1 month later, OP posted an update. The day after my post, I went to my mom's house. No one was home. I used my key. I grabbed my jewelry and the boxes of random stuff I had sitting in the attic. I looked for Mrs. Snuffles, but I couldn't find her. I searched all of Betty's boxes and the Claire boxes just to be sure. I'm pretty sure their dog at the time destroyed Mrs. Snuffles. I doubt Betty would have kept her all these years. I may or may not have cut up all of Betty's photos that I found. Whoops, was that a photo of your mom? Well, I'm sure Claire has photos of her. Plus, you have my mom now, so you'll be fine. I'll admit, a month later, I feel pretty bad about that. But the day after, I was still really raw and pissed, and yeah. When I got home, I finally checked my phone. There were a bunch of messages from Mom, Claire, and Betty that I deleted without really reading. Even an hour afterwards, I couldn't have told you what they said, but I bet in general I could guess. The messages that I got from my friends were really disappointing. Like I said, they were all mutual friends that have never known Adam and I separate from a couple. And most of the replies were, "We care about you both." Only a couple said that he was a bastard or anything. One person, in fact, knew about this. Adam had told his best friend like a week before he told me, and his best friend strongly encouraged him to tell me. I met my mother for lunch at a restaurant. She was upset with me for taking my jewelry without telling her, saying I should have left a note because she just about had a heart attack when she got home and my stuff was gone. I told her that she should have told me as soon as Betty left that Adam was the father of her baby. She said that she didn't want to get involved or in the middle, and by telling me when either Adam or Betty should have, it would have meant that she was involved. Plus, she was in shock that Betty had told her that, and wasn't really thinking about me. I told her that happened most of the time when Betty was involved, ever since we were first introduced. She tried to convince me to take Adam back, that I shouldn't waste our 10 years together. I told her that Adam was the one who chose to throw away those 10 years. She did tell me that she hadn't known when she mommed me into co-hosting that Adam was the father, and that she and my stepfather would cover my share of the gifts and the baby shower. I told her that I was her daughter. She gave birth to me, and I wasn't going to ever be able to forgive Betty. So if Mom wanted to keep being my mother, she needed to pick me for once. She said she couldn't do that she had been Betty's only mother figure, and she wholly considered Betty her daughter, and she really didn't want to get involved. That if she still had given birth to all three of us, her decision would still be the same. I told her that I was very sorry to hear that, and I wished her well. I'd call her every now and then, but I wasn't going to see her much or attend family gatherings, nor would any children of mine know my stepfamily. She said that she was sorry to hear that I was deciding that, and that she hoped I'd forgive and forget eventually, and not tear the family apart. I told her I was disappointed in her, but not particularly surprised. And Betty was the one who screwed my fiancé and tore the family apart. Then I said goodbye, popped down my share of the bill, and left. I'll call her in a couple of months, but for now, I've got her and my stepfamily on their own special ringtone, so I know not to answer them. If she insists on talking about Betty, Adam, or their baby on our phone calls, I won't speak to her until she learns to not do it. Yes, she very kindly admonished me for what I texted Betty, but I shrugged and told her that she's getting involved by telling me that I shouldn't have sent that. As for Adam, he showed up a few days after he told me with pizza, ice cream, and flowers. I had his stuff sitting by the door, and was more than willing to have him get it and go, but he convinced me to talk to him. He confessed that while I lost my virginity to him, he had lost his to Betty a few weeks before. It felt like he punched me in the face. I told him that if I'd known that, I would have dumped him then and spent the remaining 9.5 years not being held back because he didn't want to leave the city or go on trips out of the country, or get a freaking cat, he's allergic, or paint my nails, he's weird about nail polish. I haven't painted mine since we started dating, seriously. He was apologetic, but he said he loved me and wanted to work on things. I told him that I wasn't going to be Betty's baby's stepmother, that I wanted to live a 100% Betty-free life, and that if I were to take him back, he would have no contact with the woman he cheated on me with, which obviously wouldn't be possible if he's the kid's dad. He said that Betty told him there was a chance that he wasn't the father after he told me, because, like I said, she's a grunt. I told him that there's still a chance that he was, though, and I wasn't going to risk it. Plus, that didn't change the fact that he betrayed me when we were first together. And last year, and that was 2 times too many. He asked if we could still be friends, with, I'm 90% sure, the intent to win me back. I told him I would think about it, but there's no chance in hell of that happening. I talked to my dad. He lives across the country, and we're on great terms, even though we only saw each other during the summer when I was growing up. I really like my stepmother, but our relationship has always been a bit shadowed because, well, I was a dick. And I firmly pushed her away to not hurt my mom's feeling, which I'm pretty sure is some sort of weird irony. Dad offered to pay to get me out of the rest of my lease and let me live in one of his rental houses for free if I want to move to his city. I'm gonna do it. I've got a buttload of savings to last me until I find a job. I never wanted to stay in our home city forever, and I think being 2,000 miles away from my mom and the rest of the family will really help. I'm gonna work on my relationship with my stepmother too. The first thing I'm gonna do when I see her is apologize. I bought myself way too much nail polish, got a manicure, and a lot of money on a pair of boots I've wanted since forever. But I held off on it because, I couldn't splurge like that because I was gonna get married. So everything's gonna be okay, I think. OP's mother, for a person who doesn't want to take sides, interestingly always takes Betty's side in every single scenario. Funny how that works out, isn't it? That was r/best of Redditor updates, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.